If you are a student or a supply chain professional and you want to develop your skills to evolve in your company or find a new job or start a freelance business, I have built this app for you. So you can access it for free. It's named Supply Science App, like the YouTube channel. And in this app, you can find a set of quizzes to test your skills. The questions are based on the basic concepts that you can find in supply chain and also the recurring questions that you can encounter if you pass interviews. For each question, you get the correct answer, and at the end of the quiz, you have the detailed results. I have also added some lessons covering logistics, supply chain, manufacturing operations, analytics, and workflow automation. For each lesson, you have a video tutorial to learn a new concept, and sometimes you have an additional blog article with source code for you to practice. And after the lesson, you can use the guided quizzes to validate your knowledge. So the idea of this video is to introduce you this app that I have developed with my brother. I have gamified a bit with some analytics badges to help you going from 0 to hero in terms of supply chain analytics skills. So if you are interested, just follow me. So the first step is to go to supply-science.com. The link is in the description and in the first comment. This is a web application that you can access on your desktop, but also on your phone. Then you tap anywhere to go to the second page. So the idea of this app is to combine all the content that you can find on my blog, that is linked here. If you are not familiar, I have a blog with more than hundreds of articles covering supply chain, automation with AI, productivity, business profitability, sustainability, and even some career tips. And the idea here is you have a set of case studies to learn a specific concept, and most of the time you have the Python code or the Excel spreadsheet to practice this new skill with your own data. But it's also linked to this YouTube channel where you have more than 156 videos and shorts covering roughly the same topics. Sometimes you have like more than 1 hour long videos with guided tutorials to help you learn coding, Excel automations. And the idea of the app is to combine all this knowledge by field and category. So you can create your own learning track. So for that, I would advise you to connect with your Google or LinkedIn account. So the idea is to link everything that you do in the app with your profile so you can track some data. So for instance, here, this is my account. These are all the tests, quizzes that I have tried in the past. Well, the scores are not that good because it was more in the test. But the idea here is to track my performance and progress. This app has been designed by me and my brother, who had the idea to gamify a bit the experience. So adding some badges, going from supply beginner to supply scientist. And as you can see, the supply scientist is above the CEO. And the idea for you is maybe to understand how much improvement you've done, especially if you are a student or like in your early career in supply chain, especially considering that we are covering the whole value chain of a company. So from procurement of raw materials to last mile distribution. And if you reach the level of supply scientist, that means you have gathered enough knowledge to, for instance, start your freelance career or become like a supply chain executive. And you have some notifications. So here the idea is you have a feature in the app that I will show you where you can ask questions directly to me on a specific piece of content that is on my blog on YouTube channel, and I will show you how to do that. So you arrive in the page. Maybe the first step that I advise you to do is to start the fundamentals quiz. So here the idea was to collect all the different questions that are covering basic knowledge of supply chain, but also questions that you can encounter during interviews. And this is a good way for you to sense and test your level in basic supply chain knowledge. So for instance, here, what is a supply chain? Okay, I will put that randomly. And here you have the right answer. You can continue all the questions, and I think in the end of the quiz, you have the results data is recorded in your profile. So for instance, here, if I go in that one, you have like all the results for that one. So the tests, the fundamentals quiz is a good way to start your learning journey. So then you can go to the deep dive quizzes. And the idea here is more to target the specific domain where you want to improve your skills. So supply chain is basically everything related to supply chain operations, from the basic definitions to something more operational and continuous improvement oriented. There is a focus on product segmentation and inventory, and then there is a category of supply chain optimization. Here, all these categories are linked to what you can find in my blog, where you have a category for supply chain optimization, warehouse operations, performance management, inventory management. So what happened is that based on the results of your quizzes, the app will push you some content that would be better for you to revise, and this will be at the end of the quiz. So it will tell you, for instance, if you had wrong answers in supply chain optimization, for instance, in the type of algorithms to use, it will guide you to the right article where you can learn more about it. So it's a mix between assessments and learning new skills. And then you have the lessons. So the lessons are video lessons that are coming from my YouTube channel. And I have created that because I got a lot of questions on my LinkedIn DMs and X DMs where people told me that they are a bit lost with all the different content that I can find on my YouTube channel and my blog. Here, it's organized by category. So for instance, let's go on logistic operations. You will have all the explainer videos by category. So for instance, here in this explainer video, you have a basic introduction of the difference between FTL and LTL. So you can directly here access the video. Here is a very short video that you can watch to learn the specific concept. And then when you finished, and you can also open it on YouTube. So depending if you are on a computer or on your phone, you can do both. But then when you finish the video, you have this quiz that will help you to validate if you have understood the concept. So for instance, here, what is right about FTL? I don't know. I was wrong. I need to rewatch the video. So this was the features that were more linked to improve your skills and use my content to learn more. But if you are not familiar with my blog, it's more than just lessons. So for instance, here, if you go on warehouse operations, if you go on implement order batching for warehouses, what you can find in this article is the detailed code to implement the solutions that I have proposed. And you have normally a link to my GitHub in each lesson or article where you can find the source code that I have used for the specific solution. So everything is linked. So now in the app, you will have the lesson, the video, and the GitHub link. So you can learn a skill, validate that you understood the skill or like the concept, and then implement that on your own machine with your own data. So it's kind of complete. And it's probably what I would use if I were a student to build my portfolio. And I already explained that in other videos. So let me come back just to the app for the last feature. So here, it's more a gamification feature. To be honest, it's still work in progress. But the idea here was to build a supply chain optimization game where you select the factories to minimize cost and environmental footprint. It's still work in progress. As you can see, my brother had a lot of fun to add some features. I will create a video, I will push a video when it will be done. So if you click on it and you see that, don't be surprised. It's still work in progress. Then you have this feature that is quite interesting. It's where you can ask questions directly to me, because sometimes I receive a lot of questions on my LinkedIn DM, but I don't go on my LinkedIn that often. Sometimes it's on X. Some people put comments on my GitHub. So it's a bit lost. Here, it's a central source where I directly receive the question on my Discord and I can answer directly. Here, you can ask general questions. But I had another feature on my blog. So if you go on my blog, samirsaci.com, let's imagine that you saw this article about supply chain analytics and you have a question. You didn't understand a specific concept. You have this button called Need Help. If you click on it, it will send you directly to the app with the right article and you can ask your question. So for me, it's a good way to have the context, right? If you ask a specific question on an article, since I have more than 100 articles, here you can directly ask the question and I will know that it's coming from this article. So it's a bit complete. I will try my best to answer on time. And if I answer, you will receive a notification on your app. So that's all for now. It's a bit work in progress, but the idea for me is to centralize all the content that I have created. So to help young supply chain professionals or people with more experience to improve their knowledge, develop their career, or start their own business. If you have any question or suggestion about the app, don't hesitate to use the comment section of this video. If you want me to cover new topics, don't hesitate to use the question feature, and see you for the next video.